Welcome back, guys, to another episode about Arechnocadia. Today we talk about something special for me. It's about learning something new. So, the special thing to talk about learning something new is it's interesting, to say the least. Many have imagined how it could be or how it will be, but it's not always like this. You don't need to worry, it's gonna be a little bit simpler today. Oh yes, I see what I did. Yes, it's the settings, because I wanted to speak about how you learn a new language and how to learn something new. And I first started to learn something new so I can take the cover to explain to people out of Germany how to learn English easier, or for people like you yourself who are listening today to learn a new language or to learn something new. It's always interesting, as the principle always stays. You first need an interest. The interest can be that you want to play, or you want to play the game, you want to play music. Man, how do you draw a music line? I can't remember. But the interest is the same. You want something and you want to do something like that. So you try to learn it. It's as simple as that. You want to learn a new music, you want to learn a new instrument, you want to learn how to play piano, you want to learn how to play better, you want to learn how to do this, you want. Interest. It's the first thing and the most important thing of all of them. As you should have quite noticed already, if you don't have an interest, you won't learn it quite that easily. As something you don't want to won't happen out of its own. So how do we talk about it better? You first need an interest. That's the most important thing, like I said before. The interest then lets you search up new things. Lets you search it up. And by searching it up, you find a platform where you can find how to learn it. You don't find anything. It's always quite a difficult task, but it's not that problematic. By many people, that search of interest came from a different keyword. We talked about this before. Those keywords are always important. When you want to search something of your interest, always use the keywords to gain a better result. So if you use the keyword, you can find a better result about it. Let's go further from it. You have the key, you found something, or you found nothing, or you found something special. You always have a key which you can learn something. So let's talk about the other interesting part which comes to it. It's not gonna be something about it, but a little fact I want to put in there. I talked about it, I think, 2 episodes ago, on how about your language can only cover 10% of the knowledge, and how 90% of the knowledge is always covered in English. You might say, oh no, that's not quite right. As I can search up any mathematical logic or anything to my stuff in my language and I find many results. Of course you can find many results. It's quite interesting, as your language which you speak right now, or from which country you come in, they change or they translate their work in English. So if you think the knowledge you find in your language is quite that special, it's not often quite just a language barrier which is broken, but it's always those things which they come from. We talk about maybe how principles work. Some things are kept secret in there, but many things are translated. So you can find many things in the other languages which you couldn't find in your language. As between those two this year, English is a world language. It's there because it's easy to learn. And more I don't know. Those things. This was announced as a world language as it's easy to learn. More you don't need to know. So, as a word language, it has a privilege. And this privilege is that it has 90% of the knowledge of the world. Maybe even 100%, but I'm not quite sure, as there is a difference between this one and this one. As this here, I said 90% and here 10%, and not 100% and 10%. It's as your language has, and your country always has secrets. And those secrets aren't shared. Those secrets often aren't even translated. And when those secrets aren't translated, they won't find themselves in a world basis or in world knowledge. That's why Arechnocadia is sometimes inside us. Everybody can speak English, also everybody can learn English, but not everybody tries to learn it, as there's sometimes no interest to learn it. It's an interesting part, as we right now speak in English, so how should people who never listen to this stuff, as it's all in English, should notice it. They notice it not by chance, by yourself. You teach them. That's the important part. You need to say it out loud, you need to say it, or you need to give a tip to the other person. It's not always there in your hindsight. Not everybody has the same knowledge as you. You need to consider that your knowledge can be quite unique. As knowledge isn't built on a set of structure, knowledge is built on a set of experience with different subjects. Man, that was a quote I need to remember quite good, but I won't. So maybe by editing this video I will. And that's how you find that part. Now we talked about how 10% of the knowledge you have gained. There's a problem here with the secrecy part we have here. The secrecy part isn't just that something of your language can't go out and be translated in English. It's often even that something out of English can't be translated in your language, as there is a barrier happening both sides. And that's always a difficult part, as some countries want all of this to be closed down, so not everybody has the same knowledge and has the same subjects of knowledge and how to break even. Maybe you are in a quite secured state, and so they can't really bust you out of there, or they don't want you to think about it. I won't talk further than this, as it's quite out there and it's quite strong out there. But all I can say to you is, if you found this channel, then it's all you really need to learn about it. You just need to learn English, understand the concept behind it, and try to use it in your real life subjects. And this is how I wanted to say, as a little quote here, as 10% of the knowledge of the world is only in your language, and the other 90%, if you want to really learn what's out there, is in English. And yes, that's it, quite it. It's really important that you really learn English in more than just the easy way, but the hard way. And with the hard way, I mean the vocabulary, oh man, I can't quite remember the name, but you need to learn every subject. Not every subject in this person, sondern every subject to really understand the language. It's quite funny, as it's sometimes even for an English native. I'm not an English native, I come out of Germany, but here for an English native, they sometimes don't even consider really understanding their own language. They say, what, we can speak English, that's it, fine by me. That's not quite true, and it's quite bad, as, like I said, you have 90% of the knowledge, but if you don't understand English really good, you could maybe have only 5% of the knowledge. You really need to understand the complete language and the complete concept of all of it to really understand how to use it in other subjects. Let's go from here. You have your interest. You have understood that there's many ways to search for something. Maybe the keywords. Maybe the keyword is in English, so you need to understand an English concept and need to Google it in English or to search it up in English. And when you search it in English, you mostly find more with a keyword. Those keywords are often in English, as English is a world language. So the knowledge is worldwide. Capisce? And when you have a worldwide language and a worldwide knowledge baseline, you have a worldwide search engine. So if you search in English, you can probably find many things more. And yes, this log is still there in search, so don't even think about it. Maybe you can use a VPN or something like that to go around that log. It's what's taught me. I'm not a super really knowledgeable, but I have many knowledge in many subjects, so that's why I created this. I have knowledge in everything, but I'm quite knowledgeable about one subject in particular. So, going from this further. You have searched your subjects, you have found the result. You are quite interested to do it. The interest is there, the result is there. Now what? Learning something new isn't just a result on what you can do and the interest. It's quite more than that. It's quite a funny thing. So let's say you have found the really thing you want to learn. You have found how to play piano, and you have friends who play the piano, or you have a role model who plays the piano, or you have your mother, family, or just a simple interest. And you combine those two and you get not the same. As one result isn't everything. One result is only one opinion from one person. A result isn't just a learn method. That's the problem here, as many people don't quite understand. The first result you find isn't always the right one. And your interest isn't just a simple interest, or maybe you thought wrong about it. No, it's your own opinion, and your own opinion should be found in your result. So if you don't find it in your result, then not the interest is wrong, but the result. You understand? The result is wrong and not the interest. So, how do you go further? You maybe only found one result. Then maybe look up, find a better keyword, search in a better language. You can even use other languages. Maybe you can find a secret code to the one subjects you want to find out, and you found a perfect language to search in it. I don't know, maybe delicacies, maybe something like, I don't know, how the food you find here in Germany. Maybe all those things are only found in Germany quite often, as you don't speak the language of Germany. It's quite difficult for you to find more profound results, as the result maybe only be kept a secret in the so-called language. Or maybe you found a copy-paste translated version, and it's only having many H's. But it's something you can find, something you can break. If you found maybe through your keyword the perfect result, you need to consider that not every perfect result is really the thing you need to search up for. And this is where the fun part comes in, which I struggled, which you don't need to struggle when the project is more out there, or if you ask me, it would be quite easier if we have a bigger community. But when you have a small community or a small baseline from people who search up, for those people who start new, there are many ways to really search it up, to spice it up, to look it up. That's the ways I went before when I searched the subject. Oh man, did I just forget what I wanted to do? Maybe. Give me a second. We have the interest, we search for it. We find something in our language, we find something, and we don't find something. We search something through a keyword, we always find something. We search something through a keyword in an English perspective, which is a word language, we find more results. We maybe even find nothing, which is then a key problem. And you can use a VPN on outside perspective to find that thing. Then we have the result which we found. Then maybe the result was only one thing. You used that one thing, it misled you, which found you on a bad path as your interest which you had. And the result didn't quite match up, which is then a warning statement, as it isn't that your interest is false, but your result was false. And then we go further. And we go down, and you have built your own opinion, and you found a result in your own language. And you search for it. And when you search for it, you needed to go another baseline. And then you need to learn it, to start learning it. But maybe you didn't find quite the thing you wanted to find. Maybe it didn't quite work out. So let's say you want to buy a present for your mother, for your father, for any family presents, for a girlfriend, for people, which you really care about. So you really dig in deep. When you dig in deep, you need to search for more than just the best. The best isn't always the right search thing. You need to consider more in-depth knowledge. Maybe not knowing about how it really works and what's in there, which always help me. If I have an in-depth knowledge, I can find keywords quite easier, and then I can go to this one. This one is the so-called next. We go from there, the best, in-depth. If you found an in-depth, you can use that keyword in a so-called comparison. That comparison can help you identify what you have and to the results what you could have if you bought the best, and what's the real difference. And when you found that comparison, you need to search up the results. And when you search up the result, maybe we take RAM from a computer. Maybe you have 16 RAM and the other thing has 8 RAM. What's the difference? You search it up. What's the difference between 8 RAM and 16 RAM? Or you ask someone and they tell you, oh yes, if you have, whoa, and they can show you an example on how it could go. And the last thing you need to consider is the so-called not the result, not the comment. It's when you found the real thing, before you buy it, before you found, yes, that's perfect, you look it up and you search for other opinions. Maybe someone tried it already, or maybe it has a flaw in it. Maybe it's too good to be true. Or anything you can consider. But if you found nothing, it wasn't success, and you found the perfect product for you. Maybe in your price range, maybe the thing you really wanted, all that stuff of it. But it's the long way to learn it. There's an easier way, which I will implement here. That's where I came from it. Okay, and that's the Arechnocadia way, which isn't implemented for everybody who can't use it quite well or has a problem using it. No problem, you can just go the old way, which is the way I always searched up stuff or highlighted. But you can also use the Arechnocadia way, which I will implement New Year's, which is just you found the key language, you found the key you need to search up, you give that key into our into our search engine. And when you found the subject, the key will be recognized, which you yourself will not notice. And key was a success, key was found, or key wasn't found. And there's then another thing which can happen. If the key was found, you will be given a test, which will test your preferred knowledge, which you already have, and build on this one your interest and what you can learn, and subjects which you don't need to learn. And from this one out, you can pretty much look up stuff about it. That's one way. It's when a key is already given in our database, so we can find it quite easily. And then maybe you already found, this is if you look up the database, and you found the subjects you want to learn. Maybe you want to learn how to color. You search up the keywords, which would be real life coloring, or just coloring simple, or edit coloring, or stuff like that. Animate, how to animate on that preferred subject. Your key can be quite long. Maybe I will talk about a key here, nothing special. And if you didn't find a key, it's no problem. If you don't find a key, you can just ask. When you found a key and it wasn't found in a database, it will give you a related key and a number. Maybe it's in the related key, then it's all over. Then you have already found the thing and it will just go from here on out. But if you didn't find through the related key, then you can always look up the number. The number is maybe a person who is quite knowledgeable, which you can ask. It's maybe a bot or an AI, which you can ask. If maybe just a support. Or just staff management. With staff, I mean people who are interested in the stuff and looking up new things, and they might be interested in the idea you had and didn't find the keywords themselves, so it will be a sponsored subject for you, as it's something new which wasn't found before, and that's a special thing, as something which isn't found before didn't quite happen all that often. And then you have your stuff, and this given project will then give them a consideration, and you might get banned for finding something which nobody found before. Key is probably a word which can be found in all given subjects in those things. You can relate them to each other, and you can find them maybe in them. And if you use that key, it's quite easily. It's a word which is then found in all the subjects which are together in it. Drawing is a keyword, as drawing, flowers, drawing this, drawing that, you can always find it. It's in the name, you draw flowers. And if you just type in flowers, you will find everything about flowers. But if you type in drawing flowers, then you find everything about drawing flowers. And this can go on and on. Maybe making a complete sentence of it and stuff like that. This is how you learn something new. It's not quite everything, as you just find out how you can learn it, but I didn't tell you how to start learning it. That will be a new thing. Start learning. as it will be quite more difficult. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.